we have been placed at the end of the day because I think there's a lot of expectations from us to deliver good insights into the conversations which we are going to build. So we all have opinions about influencers slash creators. I think there's a huge debate about influencers slash creators, be it who's better, Bangalore, Bombay, how are tech influencers and all of this. So we'll go dive into all of those questions. But most importantly, our core conversation here would revolve around artificial intelligence and content creation and influencer economy. So before I begin, I want to understand and get a show of hands. How many of you here have seen India's Got Latent? Samarana fans in the house? That much? Like, I thought Samay was even more famous. Yeah, okay. So when India's Got Latent was on, there was one particular video of Samay Raina and another social media personality called Poonam Pandey in an intimate scene. The reason why I'm starting this entire conversation with that particular thing is because when it comes to content creation, artificial intelligence, and Indian context, do you think we have a unique problem in front of us, especially when it comes to education and the adaptation of it? I think we'll start with Siddhant.
Yeah, I hope you guys can hear me. I completely agree. I think this is like another kind of challenge which we are facing. And to be honest, I think I'm also guilty of this because we put a lot of AI content on our social media, and I think that's something which we started doing it. But if you're asking like me, like how this is changing our say social media ecosystem is people who do not have say awareness that what is the AI content versus what is the human content, these guys are not able to like tell the difference. On the other side, people who are aware of that how to create these kind of content, they are like they have like incentive to basically like go and like push this content because this kind of content gets more virality, more views. Hence like they can maybe like use these views to like monetize it and stuff like that. So I think major concern and major question for all of us to answer here is today that how would we make the entire population more aware through our content, like especially people who do have reach, and how can we like make them more aware that how do you detect these things? For example, like the deepfake detection, there are like multiple tools out there which you can use today. And yeah, I think like that's the major part for us. And this is something which I'm actively doing as part of our community. We're like making people more aware on how to detect these deepfakes and like understand the difference between AI and the human content. Yeah.
Yeah, I think the most important part is like how do we educate people to utilize the tools in the proper manner. I think Arsh, what do you have to say on this?
Yeah, I think I agree to what Siddhant mentioned. It's more around awareness of things. If we are aware of what content we are consuming, I think that makes a lot of sense. India, if we specifically position, right, the major thing, the major advantage or a disadvantage at some point of time, we'd say, is the kind of people that we have, the population of India, right? So we have creators, and it's, I think, more than any other country in the world. So we have any creators, be it people coming from tier 1, tier 2 cities, even remote towns and villages. So the kind of audience that we need to serve is again a challenge, right? There would be people who would want to consume that kind of content. There would be people who would want to consume good educational content. There would be people who would want to consume entertainment content, right? So there is an audience for every kind of content. If you are able to create that content using AI, that will help you publish more of that content, more chances of getting viral, more chances of getting in front of more people and becoming big, right? So it's up to people how you are using the technology. It can be for good, it can be for not good. I think at certain point of time we would see some regulations coming into picture that might help us structure this well in some point of time. That makes sense.
Yeah, I think we'll come into the regulations of artificial intelligence and content creation in the course of this conversation. Priya, I would want to ask you as a creator and more specifically as a female creator, do you sometimes feel that, okay, the video which I'm putting out of myself can be used in the wrong way possible? How do you get over that thought process?
So I feel that with the advance of AI, everything has its own pros and cons, right? It's all depends on us how we are using it. And that's true that as a female content creator, whenever I used to create my videos, I used to create my courses, whether it's live or self-paced course, I always have that question that it might be the case that people can use these videos, capture some insights, and then they can put in a wrong direction, right? So what I really want to say over here is, see, everybody wants views, wants to get famous, but what is the direction with which you want to get famous also depends on us, right? So it's good to be viral, it's good to have more views, it's good to have more subscribers base, it's good to have more money, but that reach should not be subpar, like that's not the primary focus. What I feel, what's my thought process, that first of all, what our moral values are and what we are doing and how we are getting that specific reach. So try to use this AI, it's really good technology in a right direction, and then only I think we will be able to make something out of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think like sticking to moralistic thought process is absolutely important, but also models are quite subjective. And most of the people who are making these videos are absolutely faceless. So, Sagar, what do you think, how should these folks or the folks in general, or a larger audience can be educated about the usage of AI in content creation?
Yes, as we are Indians, as you said, the video get viral overnight when where Samay Raina kissing a Poonam Pandey, right? So they both came to their social media profile to clarify that this is a fake video. So the motto of saying this, like AI create a mistrust, right? So as the audience, we should learn what content is AI generated or what content is originally created. In education field, this is the most important factor we have to take care of, because using my face, if someone is creating a AI video or a deepfake video, right, they can put anything, any other script that I haven't said. So in education purpose, AI is definitely leveraging creators in terms of doing research, in terms of putting subtitles and everything. Because what happened is earlier we have to read tens of websites and search Google to research about any topic. But nowadays using AI, it will take around 2 to 3 minutes to research about a topic. So yes, definitely it is helping educators.
Yeah, and okay, so while we go into the regulations and the education of it, and I think the regulations can also come in, deepfakes have been used in elections in the US, and also, I mean, could be used in the elections in this country. We have a bunch of elections coming next year and then year after that. But before we go there, let's take a step back into creator economy, influencer economy, and understand the usage of AI in your regular day. As creators, and Siddhant, we'll start with you. As creators and 100x, like you guys have done a really good job, and you have worked at AEOS, and I'm pronouncing it correctly, hopefully. They have really pioneered the usage of artificial intelligence in content creation. There are these really good examples of creators in India who have used AI at the fullest, and you have probably worked with them. We at AIM have used AI to create content ourselves. Where do you think the job roles will get morphed, especially due to AI, like say social media managers, content creators? Where do you think the job roles will get morphed?
That's a good question. I'll actually break this down into like two parts. I think one part is about like how can somebody use AI into content creation, and this is something actually started like 3 years back. So after the last exit, me and Varun, we co-founded this company called Avalon Scenes, and that got acquired by Graphy. And after that, we had this period where we are like, we just want to run experiments, and we got this like villa in the Indranagar. So we call this our hacker house. So the goal of that hacker house is we're going to live together and run these experiments every single day. One of the experiments which came out from that house is the AI avatar, and this was like 3 years back. We were working on the open source technology where how can we like clone Varun Maya's avatar, and even like Sid, who is my co-founder, he was starting 100x content. So the problem statement was same for both of them. At the, I think, end of like 6 months of experimentation, we realized that Hagen was the first tool which came out, and we kind of like able to use the Hagen avatars, but the voice was the bottleneck there, because their voice was like really robotic. So that's basically what led us to like discover more tools like 11 Labs. And again, shout out to 11 Labs. I think you already like have one of them team member from here. So these guys did a really good job in terms of cloning the voice. So that basically helped us to solve the voice problem. And then Hagen was solving the avatar problem. And then finally, we're like with the next best part for us to like figure out is the research and the writing. And this is where Claude really shined, where like now Claude was able to like understand the context. So we can create a project in a Claude and we can upload our different scripts. By the way, we tried like at least 5 different techniques, like starting from fine tuning, even pre-training. So we were training like our own large language model from scratch, but realized that that's not the best approach. Did fine tuning, did in-context learning, realized if you have a sample set, or maybe like if you have written maybe say 100, 200 scripts, the best way for you to maybe fine tune an AI is like just put everything in the context. This is called in-context learning. And then maybe back then we were using Claude and Claude was giving really good output. So all of these 3 tools became our workflow. Like tool number 1, which was Hagen. So we create our own clone. It gives us the avatar. Then we create our voice clone in 11 Labs. That gives us the voice. Then we use Claude to basically write and do the research. And then we connect all these 3 tools and basically put out like a simple video. Now we have an editor whose job is to basically now find the relevant B-rolls and attach everything. So the time for us to create a content, it basically drastically went down from what it used to take like 1 or 2 days to like do the entire process of post-processing. Now, like, so I think this was also one update which we did, like when Google I/O announced their updates, we were able to like ship the entire video in next 30 minutes. So which became like one of the fastest way for us to like ship the content. Now there are 2 sides of it, as you mentioned about the roles in the evolution. Initially, we got a lot of hate. Like even like Varun got a lot of hate for this entire thing. It's like, why are you using AI? This is just like polluting the entire thing, very famously known as AI slop, right? But I realized that you still need the human in the loop, and that is where I think we are able to like differentiate. Like there are creators, there are like people who are running this experiment where they're using completely AI to automate the content and even put the content out. I think that approach might not work really well today because like, as Rick Rubin mentioned, right, AI does not have a point of view today. It is like the most, I would say, generic language or maybe like the content it can put out, right? If you just like ask AI to do that. But if you can use your own point of view and your own, I would say, insight, and then use AI to maybe like automate the part which is basically like anyways like gonna be automatable. I think that's the key insight what we got after this. And now in the evolution of roles, what I personally look at is that in future, most of the video editors and people who are working on these things, they will become channel producers. So we have a role called channel producer in our company where these guys like manage the entire team of video editors, writers, and presenters, and they basically like take care of like how can like we ship this video in maybe say less than 30 minutes, 20 minutes. And I would say in future, instead of them managing human beings, they can maybe hire AI agents, and that would also become like one of the thing. It's like one of the skill which Microsoft Work Trend Index report spoke about, right? Like how can you become an agent boss? That's gonna be like one of the, I would say, upcoming skill sets. So I think, yeah, I hope like that makes sense, and this was like something which I was thinking about it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And okay, so I have a counter question to that. Now, I have seen a lot of those videos, obviously, and the Google I/O event which you're talking about, and not only that, I think a lot of OpenAI updates which comes in, Varun ships them the fastest. Like even before anyone else comes in, Varun ships them the fastest. Tell me, how much time did it take for you to, and I'm going slightly deeper into this, how much time did it take for you to fine-tune the model? Because we also have tried it multiple times, morphing Hagen and 11 Labs to create a video of that. And we have been successful in it, but I think the precision which you folks have reached is because of fine-tuning the model to a certain degree. So tell us, how much time did it take for you to fine-tuning the model?
I think this might sound counterintuitive, but we didn't do fine-tuning at all. We realized that fine-tuning for a large language model is actually not the best way for us to train and maybe like, I would say, get these kind of outputs which we are trying to do. So what we ended up doing is like what I was telling you about in-context learning, where instead of giving it maybe say thousands of scripts, we have created like very specific roles for Claude. For example, like if I am talking about, so there's a new update in ChatGPT agents. So this is about like everything agent specific to ChatGPT. And I have a very specific style of writing, which I know because we have already written say 1,000 scripts in the last 2 years, that this is the kind of script which really works whenever you talk about agents. So based on our human insights, what we do is we curate like these templates. Okay, if I want to maybe create a hook for agent, this is the hook after testing like thousands of script, we realize that this really works. So we basically use these templates and then use AI just to like do the last, you can say 10, 20% of finish line, right? So I think that is also one of the reason why it is different and why it is working for us as compared to somebody who is like completely using AI to automate the entire process. That's what I said. Today, like based on all our research and all our testing, we realize that it's not, I don't think like I can trust, to be honest, AI, because I teach also about this, all these things. I can't trust AI to like write the entire script for me and also like pull views. I need that point of view and that human touch in this. So I think that's what we were able to do. So just to answer your question, we had understood the templates for each and every category. We have now these templates. What we do, this become like a boot, I would say the starting point for an AI. And then we basically like use it to finish the entire process of like adding the avatar, adding the voice, and then stitching this back to the video. Yeah.
Okay. Arsh, tell us about your regular creation process and the AI tools you have integrated.
So I think what Siddhant mentioned, right? The entire workflow remains the same for any and every creator. The same tools we have been using. I've been trying, not on my page, but on multiple other pages, trying to fine tune the model and also building a full AI agent on how can we automate the entire process, right? So I've done a video where I've explained it, how can that be done? And automatically that video generated can be posted across 9 of your social media handles on a set timer, right? You create a trigger wherein you go through the process. When there's a tool that spots trends, what all topics are trending. For example, I'll give them the keywords, for example, AI, technology, startups, or whatsoever. Then it will spot the trends. For example, in the last 1 hour, what has been the latest news across ET, across Times of India, across other platforms. It will come up, it will research 5 different topics, then it would take some decision on the basis of my content style. Like if at all, what has worked on my page before, if this is the trend, that would pick up. Then it will rate all those 5 articles. From that, it will generate a script. Again, the process of Hagen and 11 Labs for voice and for video is done. And after that, there's a certain API that will help me publish that content to 9 different platforms. For example, it would create a Twitter thread for that same content. It would create an Instagram reel for that same content. It would create a LinkedIn post for that same content. And this is how the process looks like. So this is something that's work in progress, not officially on my page. But at the same point of time, when it comes to job roles like content creator, a content writer, or a social media manager, right? I would say the more suitable word that we can describe would be a content strategist or a social media strategist that would replace a content writer going forward, right? So you have everything in hand. Not just writing, but you have different other aspects that a strategist can put in together, and he can be a single person handling everything, as he mentioned. So that's I think how this industry is shaping, and this is how we'll be moving forward.
Sagar, like, talk to us about the products which you use on a regular basis. Products and the changes which you have seen, especially in terms of job roles. And also, do you have like a team now? Like, what is the team size? What is, if you can explain the job roles which your team
yes,
entails?
definitely. Like creating a video is not just talking anything on the screen. It's about the researching the idea, the words that we are choosing to speak in a video. Because we are creating for our audience, right? If audience don't watch the video, it will hurt the algorithm and suddenly the video will get dropped. So we have a team who spend time on the topic research and the script and the idea and the editing, everything. The main thing we are leveraging AI is for research. Basically, if I have to create a video for my audience, I have to go to YouTube comments and read Amazon reviews. Like if there is a book published on C programming, I have to read reviews because there is where the actual question audience asks. So when you create a content that your audience want to learn, this is where your video go viral. And it is a very time-taking process. But after AI came in the market, it is just a task of 2 to 3 minutes. So research tool is using the chat GPT because that is faster than DeepSeek and any other models. We are using multiple AI tools for scripting. Let me clear, we are not using the fully AI generated script because if you fully rely on AI, people can smell the AI content, right? That will hurt the again algorithm. So AI plus your taste plus how you create trust to your audience, this will make a good content, as I can say.
I think I would like to add, even if not an AI avatar, but in general also, if you're creating traditional content that you have been creating from so long, so AI has somehow assisted in reducing the time span that it can be shipped, right? You see a lot of AI B-rolls coming in. People have combined Nano Banana with VO3 and come up with really cool B-rolls that would look very suitable for the kind of content piece. And that earlier, if at all somebody needed, like, there was a need to design something like that, it would take them hours. For example, something now that can be done in minutes with a single prompt. So somehow reduce the overall time span for how people are shipping the content, be it in terms of editing, be it in terms of creatives, be it in terms of getting things done or strategizing, research in all phases. It has somehow helped us reduce that time.
You know, there's a very interesting angle to this conversation is media versus creators, and especially with the angle of artificial intelligence. And I'll come to that after Priya's answer, because that entails the angle of building distribution and building distribution fast. So Priya, if you can talk to us about the tools which you use, how your team has shaped up, or your content creation process have shaped up. Post that, we'll come to the media versus creators question.
So currently I'm working at Turing, and there all the tools that we are designing are completely based on agentic AI and RAG applications. So few years back, if we will see, obviously whatever jobs the AI-based tools today are doing, we as a manually doing everything. So I think Siddhant, Arsh has given us several examples for the same, that how they are utilizing it, especially Siddhant in their company. So similar thing is happening in Turing as well. So it's not that we can put all the data on an open-based ChatGPT or Perplexity-based platform, and that is where RAG applications comes into picture, where whatever be the confidential data that we will be having in a company. So we are trying to use that in their own database system, and if let's say I want to access any specific data entry, any specific file, so I have a huge database system. Now, previously what was happening? There was some person who used to take care of all of these things, who used to take care that where that specific data is available, fetch that, and give us the results. Now we have a RAG-based applications where automatically all these things are happening. So one thing I really want to say over here that, already they have mentioned, right? It's not that 100% of the job will be taken care by AI-based tools. It won't be possible. I don't even think even after 5 years or 10 years, these machines will get so much advanced that there will be any human intervention. Or it may be, at least we cannot trust 100% that okay, everything will be done by AI and it will be 100% accurate. So there will be a need of human intervention, but it's just that roles will get changed. So as I think Sagar has mentioned that scripts are there, but it's not that we are just directly copy pasting those things. We are obviously on top of that, there should be a personalized touch. It should not feel that it's robotic. Otherwise, there will not be emotions after some point of time, everything will be robotic, right? So everything is there, and obviously there will be some more advancement which will happen. But at the end of the day, it's all about upskilling yourself, checking onto what things are coming up next, and see that how you can utilize onto that specific part and become an asset for a company. Even if you have your own company or you are working in that specific company, that's one of the most important thing that we should take care of. It's not that things are coming up and we don't even know. How can we use those specific things to do our task in an easier manner? For example, few years back, if I was writing a code, developing my end-to-end project, it was, let's say, taking me 1 month. Or doing a research, I have to take some books, I have to just check on Stack Overflow, I have just checked on Google websites. There are multiple websites. Now things are becoming very easy. So doing that 1 month of research, now it takes me maybe 1 week maximum, I can say, to build something. So the only thing is how can we use that in a right direction, and that is where basically in my company I am using that specific tools.
Okay. Now let's come back to the media versus creators question which we spoke about. Now the reason why I want to delve deep into this is because I have, from a very personal perspective, I have seen both media and creators on either side. Now, if the utilization of AI can fast track building distribution, because that is where the real moat for any sort of a media entity lies, be it a creator or a media organization. Now there are these media organizations which has spent a lot of time over the years to build distribution, and they have huge teams. And then there is the Varun Mayas of the world who are building distribution extremely fast. And I have seen how business has also sort of moved in some extent when it specifically comes to content, partnerships and all of that. So how do you think that with distribution being built so fast, what will be the real moat for any sort of a media entity? I think Siddhant or Arsh, if you can start with.
Cool. I think for media, I might not be the best person. Like I'm a techie more. I would say I've been writing code from last 10 years, but I'll still give you like a perspective, and this is something which I teach about. How can you build a moat in the age of AI? Because every single software, every single idea, what you can think of, like the same guy who's sitting next door, they can also use AI, maybe replicate your application. So the question becomes like, how do you defend your business? I think, and this is where so I've written about, this is called my 3D framework. So 3D stands for data, distribution, and design. So starting from data, and you can actually apply this framework into any successful business. Just give you an example of 100x engineers. So almost 2.5 years back, we started, and we knew that there would be like, I would say more people who will start teaching about AI. And so right now we're solving the education part using AI, and that's one of the things we are focusing on. But we knew that the only way for us to differentiate is like, either we build our loyal audience, and we basically start with the distribution angle. And once we have that, maybe then we can like utilize the data and design a better curriculum, design like better services which can basically help them solve the experience. Just to like give you one example, which might not be directly related, but this is the experiment which we did, kind of an interview. So we asked the top teachers across the India, and we invited them in the studio. And we also like asked their students, we invited them as well. So in one room, we asked the teachers, do you use AI for creating assignments? And they said yes. And then in the other room, we asked their students, do you use AI to like solve these assignments? They said again yes. And then we asked the teachers, do you use AI to evaluate these assignments? They again said yes. So now what is happening here is that every single person is using AI, and human are just being a facilitator here. So, which is like kind of funny, but it's very concerning for our education system, right? Like, how would you trust somebody who is now graduating from the system, and like, how can they develop the critical thinking skills, right? What you need in today's market. And I think that was one of the eye-opener moment for me, is like, I think somebody needs to like rethink about the education from scratch and from the first principles, because I don't think the current system is like helping all the students to develop these skills. And one of the things which I do a lot in my team is like, we do the thought experiments. Like maybe I'll ask like you guys also, if that won't hijack the time, is just say your kid, if tomorrow maybe you have a kid, or maybe anyone who is like learning in the school, they can access any information using ChatGPT or AI tools. What are the skills you still want them to learn in the age of AI? Maybe I'll start from you.
In media, we are taught never to answer, always to ask questions. So I think Arsh can start. I think by the time I'll think.
So I think this is a very valid question, and we also, I'll come to your question first, then I'll come to his. So he was talking about
I'm
mode,
glad.
right? Siddhant mentioned about loyalty of followers, right? But it's very subjective. For example, just take the example of Tanmay Bhatt. So there can't be another Tanmay Bhatt. It's very difficult to reach that kind of level. But he has been like updating himself, and he has been jumping on a lot of trends, and he has that loyal fan base. For example, he was into the Solana ecosystem when Solana came in. Then he moved on. He started a channel with Varun where they were talking about and reviewing AI. He's already into content. He is already into creating
Making ad
ads or
films.
writing copywriting for
He's
a
an
lot of
investor
companies,
also.
right? So the kind of jumps he has been waiting, and he is kind of relevant to his audience, right? You need to stay relevant. For example, if with AI, the space is changing at very, like, it's changing very fast. With every single day we see updates from Gemini, OpenAI, and a lot of other companies. So how can we leverage that fast? I think that gives us a leverage, and that would be the moat going forward. That can be one. Coming to his question, what skills I think would be DJ? You have access to information. What we have been through the education system where we have either crammed something to write in papers, writing exams. We have spent all of our time writing assignments. We have spent all of our time attending classes, sitting in front of a teacher. In that 45 minutes lecture, I can cover that 45 minutes lecture in, let's say, 5 to 10 minutes right now with the best possible visuals, with the best possible literature out there. So the skills, I think, one, information access is not a challenge right now. You can get that easy. How to have that emotional intelligence to process that information, I think that's something that would come into picture. You need to understand on how, basically, currently all companies are building AI agents. We have been building AI agents. The orchestration part is something that everyone is figuring out. How can we orchestrate different things together to get something, to get that output? I think the same thing. We have access of information. How people from that early age, maybe fundamental skills everyone needs to learn, right? You send your kid to school, he would learn something fundamental. He would learn the fundamental skills, and then how can we put that thing in mind? He is the best one to use the best technology available. So that's the thing, along with emotional intelligence. I think that would serve the.
Yeah, I'll come to Sagar after this and then Priya. But I want to first counter, like ask a follow-up question in that argument which you presented, especially in regards to Tanmay. This brings me to a thought process that like when with Gen Zs coming in and the adoption of influencers slash creators, I don't like the word influencers, but like creators, do you think you're really getting the definition of building a loyal audience? Is it really that, okay, you push out content, or is it very characteristic and personality selling? Because people are associated with Tanmay Bhatt as a personality.
Yeah.
I think Varun's moat was that you push out the news faster than, say, any media organization is pushing out. Like 15 minutes after OpenAI gives out those 11 days updates, I think Varun was pushing it out in 15 minutes. I think everyone's attracted to the personality than the loyal. So I think the loyalty is all the personalities. That is where the difference between mainstream versus creators coming. Am I reading it correctly, like Siddhant? What do you think?
I think you're reading correct on the influencer side of things, but what I am focusing on right now with the 100x is the community first approach of building. That's where I mentioned the loyalty, because maybe like if I start my own journey as an influencer, then I would take the similar route what Tanmay or what maybe like Varun is doing, because actually everybody is chasing the attention, and attention changes based on the taste of an average population. For example, right now, if you look at the algorithm of social media, that is a representation of a taste of how an average individual in India, or basically whoever is a target audience, what kind of content they consume and they like. Maybe today, see, the AI agents are trending, so they are like looking more at the AI agent content, and if you create a content in that topic, that will like maybe get more views, but maybe say tomorrow their new technology can come in, and that also changes, right? So that same thing, for example, like what we were making content 3 years back, we have a same, I would say, exact same script which we tried, but it didn't work after 2 years, because again, the taste has changed and it has evolved over time. So I think if you again start from that angle, yes, for an influencer, personality is one of the way, one of the moat. But if you're building an organization, I would say having a community first approach has really benefited us, because so right now there are 3,000 people who are actively building along with like whatever followers we have. So, and these guys talk about like what they're learning every single day. So you can check out, there's a hashtag called hashtag 0 to 100x engineer. This is basically our 100-day of code equivalent thing. What we are doing is that instead of like us creating content, actually you guys should start your distribution channel first. And maybe like together as a community, we can basically maybe like create more noise on the internet and like attract more opportunity for this entire community, rather than me creating content for myself. And that is definitely like helped us. Every single student, by the way, who has created these content pieces for 100-day series, they have got some or the other kind of opportunity. So this is like a great start for anyone. Maybe if somebody is sitting here, wants to start your journey, maybe pick one niche, pick whatever you want to learn, and commit the 100 days of journey. You don't need to use like the hashtag which I told you, but you can use whatever you want. It's just that consistency really helps you. And if you're doing it with maybe say 10 other people, then cross collaboration, posting their content each other, that also accelerates and compounds. So I think that's basically one of our mode, which maybe if I could tell you, yeah.
Okay, Sagar, if you can add to that.
Yes. Basically, loyalty comes after a service when customer experience what you are providing. Let's say you're booking a flight and app shows you 3 airlines, right? And there's a huge price difference. You won't play a loyalty role. You go with the airline who offer you a less price. So in businesses, like at coding wise also, we offer services that's so good that people come to us. In business itself, you should not only use AI and expect that AI will help you to gain a loyal customers or a loyal audience. At the end, it's all about how you are providing services using AI. I'm not saying using completely AI because your touch always required. So loyalty is something you should provide a service first, again and again. And in this AI era, there are too many competitors, influencers. It is very important to keep your originality, your taste, and your honesty, because nowadays, even earlier I get fear, like to tell my audience what content is AI generated or what content I originally produced, right? So it's all about like including your taste and having the honesty, like yes, this is my self-created and AI generated, because the thing is, service comes first, then a customer become loyal. You cannot expect someone to be a loyal without experiencing what services you are providing.
Last point, just wanted to add. For example, he was talking about persona, right? So people would see Tanmay Bhatt as a personality, and for people like us or somebody who is educating, we are more of an educator persona, and people don't see us as somebody like Tanmay Bhatt. It's very tough to do what Tanmay Bhatt is doing with AI. You can't imitate what Tanmay Bhatt is doing, but similarly, you can push out updates as early as possible using AI. That is possible, but AI can't make a Tanmay Bhatt clone and do the same thing that Tanmay Bhatt is doing, right? It's kind of difficult, and that's how the loyal fan base becomes. In education space, yes, as you mentioned, community first approach is something that we do. I also do a lot of experiments like these, a 45 days challenge or a 30 days challenge for software engineering. That helps, and because you're empowering somebody with something, so that means you are building a loyal fan base.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely correct, and that brings again to another angle to this conversation, that creating content for tech, deep tech, is how difficult is it, and how do you build a audience there, and Priya can answer this, than creating content for extremely mainstream topics like politics, policy, and sports. In India specifically, it's cricket, Bollywood, and politics. And then the startup wave came, and now the AI. Then in between, there was a slight crypto wave as well. So how do you build loyal audience, specifically in this segment, where there is very less glitz and glamour outrightly
That's true.
on the surface?
When we create these kind of technical based content, the obviously views will be less because everybody is not that much interested to go in depth. That's what I was talking to Sagar a few minutes back before this conversation, that people are very they like generalized content rather than a depthness of that specific content. And but as Siddhant has mentioned about this teaching part and the community part, I myself doing this from past 5 years, I would say. I am a mentor, and still every weekend I used to teach data science, data analyst based topics to the learners. And what I feel is that if we will be able to build the community, that actually I am able to build that because obviously I have a lot of years of experience. That's the first thing. Secondly, the loyalty which they're talking about, I can completely understand that people are very much interested. There are very few, but they are genuine. So they do put a lot of effort in terms of coming up on stage. For example, let's say every week I used to go and teach them live. But after that, we have a great Discord channel where they connect with each other. They are posting of YouTube videos of their own, what they have learned, how they have learned. right? Which influences other people also to, learn from each other. So as a mentor, as a teacher, I would say my number one approach is to build a great community where people will try to learn from each other, and that's what I think I have done from past few years. Even though the numbers are not that much huge, but what numbers I have is actually genuine. I know that, there are people who are waiting for my sessions, and whether they're 2,000, 3,000, right? It's not 3 lakh or 30 lakh, but quality is something which is there in this specific AI-based domain where we are doing our tech work.
I think it basically means that like if we have to create a solid moat in deep tech AI driven conversations or like content creation, then it has to be very core community driven to sustain and to survive and to build that sort of a revenue channel so that it becomes an independent working organization. Now we are at the fag end of this conversation also because I think we just have 5-10 minutes left for this. The last part is about policy and the government. So I would like if you're not comfortable with a particular answer or something like that, it's absolutely fine if you do not wish to comment on it. But this last part is about policy and a very important policy document, which is called the Broadcast Bill. I don't know if it's still called the Broadcast Bill, but it's not a bill which has been tabled in the parliament. It is a bill which is in conversation and has been doing the rounds for a long period of time. And this latent controversy also had some sort of a linkage to it as per media reports. Now what's very interesting about this policy document is that we had a media regulation policy before, which normally entailed only television media, print media, but did not have the OTTs into consideration or did not have online communities into consideration. Now this particular bill which is supposed to be tabled, as per media reports, this bill, this bill will bring in creators as well. This bill will also bring in OTT as well. Now, from an artificial intelligence perspective and policy perspective, there's two very important angles to this. First angle is that AI will reduce the entry barrier for content creation, but this bill will actually do the opposite because you need to have CECs and all of those registrations and all of that. So people with like someone who's really young and does not have a lot of capital or understanding of things might not be able to create content because it will set up cap for it. So how does the creator community, or how do you look at it? Like, should there be regulations? Should there not be regulations? And the artificial intelligence perspective of it. Anyone can pick it up. This is the last
Definitely,
answer.
AI should be having some regulations because who should create a regulation? Like who should give the independence? Like AI will generate something or not? We, right? We are the leaders. We are the creators. And in India itself, people are not using AI to create content, but to create a mistrust, to create a post that are not actually like physically exist. So yes, regulation is required, but if we talk about the entry barrier, yes, definitely AI will definitely help you in terms of researching, in terms of learning. Like I personally use tools to learn new topics, learn new framework. Now how can I script my video script that audience will love and engagement will be boomed up. So yes, it will create some kind of easiness for the new upcoming creators. And everyone should use AI, but not just fully depend on AI, because AI itself name is artificial intelligence. It's not natural intelligence.
I think all the governments, not just in India but across the world, have been looking at AI very. It's not very clear on what needs to be done. I think EU recently passed an AI Act in which they had some form of regulations on not to more for deepfake a child or let's say an elderly above 60 years of age, because that's something that can be misused. And similar is because there's so many other cases that we have been seeing in India when it comes to people getting scammed. There's so many financial frauds or people not being able to understand, right? AI, somebody who is above 40, 45, 50 years of age, he or she might not be able to comprehend what is happening with him or her. So how government would come to protect that kind of an individual? I think that's the need somehow, and regulation would come maybe today, maybe an year after. But at the same point of time, when it comes to the broadcasting bill, right, I think it puts a stop on what my opinion is about certain things. So I think that's something that needs to be checked again. Not directly putting a barrier. For example, if I create a video, I need to pass it through a special regulatory check, then only I can publish it on my YouTube channel. So that's something that nobody would want to have in place, right? So giving my opinion on something that is not harming the national security or national India as a nation, I think that is okay. But if at all I am putting something on any other topic or anything that is not related to national security or it's more of related to AI, then my opinion-based content should not pass any regulatory check. I should be free to post whatever I want, is what I believe.
You know, there are a lot of directors who come and say that their scripts get checked by lawyers more than their actors. So I don't know if we'll reach a state, but like coming to what you said, even with national security questions, like there are a lot of geopolitical subjects which creators pick up. Now, what is moralistically right or moralistically wrong are also questions there. And if a regulation comes in where there has to be checks in terms of content creation happening, will we see, say, another Arsh Goyal coming out? Is also a question, because then the cap is so high, and the cap is so high that no one would make content. Priya, what do you have to say about it?
I think my thought process is similar. Regulations should be there, but it should not be like, see, now the process is very smooth, so we don't want it to be very hard also. Because if it's a long-term process, everybody, like anyone who is just starting their journey, they will be having fear first before jumping ahead. They will be like, oh my God, this is something which I supposed to do. This is the knowledge which I supposed to gain. So it should be a balanced form where obviously there should not be that much leniency that whatever videos people are putting, they are having that sort of freedom. There will be a proper checks which will be there. But if at least the videos are based on AI or any educational stuff, where the intention is right. So obviously there should not be a long-term procedure where we have to pass through before posting it to the platforms.
Siddhant?
I think very sensitive topic. It's a topic of freedom of speech, what you basically opened here.
Yeah.
And I feel like, yeah, it's a very questionable thing, right? Like, I don't know like where to draw the line. You can say whatever you want, to be honest, right? And I don't think like freedom of speech in the constitution also like allows anyone to like not share their opinions publicly out, as long as you're not hurting anyone's sentiment or maybe like, you know, one or the other way, right? The only problem comes here is that like, how do you know the nuances that, like you say, like these are the cases where, okay, I've said something and that caused damage to other personality because of the trust erosion happened, right? So I think those are the sensitive areas. For me, like this is the problem which actually like AI researchers should solve, because it's a content moderation problem. I think then it could lead to like better policy design. So like right now, like I'm working with like a couple of folks. So this is like from our IRS, which is like Indian Revenue System, and there are a couple of folks in the policy who are now like opting for the courses like ours to understand the application of AI in the moderation space, right? How can you use AI to like moderate the content? Because the volume of the content which India produces today, it's like insane, right? We have like almost like 1 billion people, and like you cannot like just use any manual approach to do that. In fact, I think this is like one of the active area where like our policy team is like currently working on, as per as whatever I am aware of. And yeah, I think so that basically comes back to the question is that how should somebody regulate this part? It's again, I would say, should come from the moderation first view, understanding and drawing the boundary between the freedom of speech and how do you basically say and evaluate that this kind of content doesn't harm others. To be honest, I don't have a clear answer right now, but I would say like, yeah, I think this is where the research should like maybe happen more, and we should basically like figure out some or the other way to do that. But I definitely in the favor of having a clear regulation, which also like sets the clear boundary of within the freedom of speech. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what's most important is, I think everyone, like I think the country as a whole finding its moralistic line, that this is the line we will not cross. I think with that we have come to an end of the session. I think it was a great session. We really liked it, and I hope that with AI, Indian creator economy market is around $2 to $4 billion, if I'm not wrong, and like global market is around $200 million. So I hope that with AI and with low cost tools, it turbocharges the market, and we reach where we are supposed to reach as a country, and we're not the MAU farm anymore, and like we actually make numbers. Thank you so much. I think it was a great session. I don't know if you have time for questions, or like anyone wants to ask questions.
We do have some time for questions, ladies and gentlemen, so
Gentlemen
please
there.
do go ahead.
It's working, right? Yeah. Hi, I'm Akash Kapoor. Thanks for the engrossing discussion. I just wanted to check, how do you ascertain the virality of the video? Is it just by the gut feeling, the agents are in trending and now let's do it, or is there any tool you use to check whether this video is going to go viral or not? I have a follow-up question as well, but answer this one and then we go on to the next one.
I think who wants to,
I think this comes with experience. Once you start creating, right, you'll figure out the trends. It's not just about trends, but what kind of audience are you catering to? For example, I create content in AI and tech space. I know what is something that would work for them. I can put a video with a very strong hook and it might not work. But if the video has value, I think that would work. It depends upon from niche to niche. The first thing for anyone who is thinking this question is to start creating content, and maybe then you will figure out what will work and what will not. There's no AI tool that can help you, that can 100% guarantee this is something that is going to work. There's nothing like that. This is what I feel.
Additionally, you can ask to your audience also. If you are a creator, if you're an existing audience, you can ask, you can run quotient poll. You can go to forums, read the question that or your audience is asking, and you can create a content around that. That increase the chance of getting viral.
Okay, so no tool as such. You want to add something?
yeah, Priya.
Again, I think the question which you asked about the virality, I would say again it's actually like a psychological question rather than like a more technical question. It's because, like, can I ask what you do?
Yeah, I work for Oracle in Gen AI Center of Excellence, and I'm a travel influencer as well.
Oh, interesting. So you create content for like people who want to travel or maybe like want to go, right?
Absolutely.
So again, this is about understanding the psychology of your target audience. Like if you are attracting people who likes to travel, understanding what will make them say spend time on your video, because just keeping yourself in their shoes, they would be like bombarded like every day with like thousands of reels. What is the I would say like one clear message you can basically like put across in their feed that will like make them stop? Understanding that these guys are also say interested in like maybe travel or maybe like looking at your content. So I would say like again the virality part, but I agree with like what Arsh mentioned, it comes with an experience, and it also understanding about the psychology of your target audience and then start experimenting with it. So by the way, there's one tool which you can use. This is something which I recently started using. This is Instagram started this A/B testing for your reels. So you can use these A/B testing tools to actually run different experiments on your reels, which means like your reel will not go directly to your audience. First, it will go to a random audience which these guys do not have like seen your content. And then Instagram can give you stats. And once you look at these stats, then you can maybe decide, okay, this type of content works for, say, XYZ audience. Maybe I can like try it. So what happens here is that you get more chances to put out the content without risking the reputation among your audience. So I think maybe that could be like something which you could try.
So more than Instagram, I'm on YouTube. Wherever I go, travel across the country, I just make the videos and then post it. So it's been a while that I've been posting, but now I see that the viewership is going down, and I don't know the reason. Pretty much the same kind of contents is coming. Is it something which AI is now taking away? Because I've not been using any AI. If you post a video on YouTube, it clearly asks you, is there anything which is not real in this video? I don't take that, because everything is very much real, very much traditional, no AI. So I don't know if AI I should be putting in somehow. I don't know if you guys can throw some light on that as to how I can use it and then kind of take it up.
By the way, how much time it's been there? You are uploading the videos on YouTube.
How much what?
Like, how much experience do you have? In
I guess 5 years.
5 years. And you are facing challenge, right? Like from the past few months?
I would say like last 3-4 months, it's now going down. It was going good. I would not say like I'm like a huge influencer. No, I'm a small, very small influencer, and but now even that is going down. So I was not sure if I should be researching on some AI tool and get some AI in. I don't know.
I just want to add a bit here. I don't think AI tool will solve this problem. The AI tool is just a creation tool. In the sense that you can use it to create, and also at the same time, I also have some questions on whether, say, YouTube or Instagram as a product is shadow banning if you're using AI in your videos. So that is also something which we need to think about. I'm not sure if they're actually doing it as a product or they're actually encouraging. Also at the same time, there are multiple ways to look at virality at the stage which you're in right now at the moment. I think what you need to look at is maybe look at 5 other influencers in your niche, which is travel industry, and see what are their best videos which has been working for them in the past, say 3 months, 6 months. Reverse engineer the titles, make the videos, get the numbers up, and then it eventually flows. That's a very easy way to get some sort of a flow moving. But other than that, the like extreme virality which you see like top creators in this country get is when is, as rightly mentioned by Siddhant, is the psychology thing, is when 100,000 people think about a certain thing in a certain way, you are able to think ahead of them. That is when you get 100,000 of those views, because you're pushing the thought process a bit with every single video. So which is why you need to have that perspective of 100,000 and think better than them. That is when the huge numbers come in. But on a regular basis, if you want the numbers to scale up, I think just look at like 5 influencers from your niche, reverse engineer the titles, and push the videos.
I think repurposing your videos across other social media handles would also solve the purpose. You can get some distribution from Instagram or from other platforms that are very relevant. For example, travel content would be very relevant for Instagram audience, right? If at all you cut some snippets out of your video, if it's a long format video, or you shoot in a way that you have some portrait video and put it across Instagram, maybe one reel getting viral on Instagram, it's easier than as compared to on YouTube. Right. And you can get some people going from Instagram to your long form video and eventually increasing your views, because we have seen attention spans reducing, right? For the past 5 years after COVID, we have seen the attention spans reducing. People don't want to watch a 15 minutes video where you are speaking about something. They would want to consume the gist of 15 minutes in 1 minute. So that's something that can
You
be tried
should
out.
analyze your video with other top creators also, like in your industry you are doing well, and analyze like what unique they are doing and what actually I'm missing in my video. Right? Add your creativity, add the framework, add the tone or add the style they are using in the video that are getting huge views, and definitely you should get the same number also. And getting about viral means you should pick a question that everyone is asking, right? If there is a thousand people room and thousands of people are asking same question, then chances that everyone will listen. But if you pick a question of only 10 people, right? 10 people are asking the question. So then out of like 990 people won't listen you. So getting a viral is all about picking the question that everyone is asking.
All right, thanks a lot.
Thank you so much. Last 2 questions. And guys, I know that you must have many questions, but try to make it a little precise.
Hi, thank you for your discussion about the AI as like what you did, right? So I have a question regarding the scripting, right? What you guys do. I know right now you are having a team for scripting and you are using some AI tools. But before that, what is a rule which you follow, which you can discuss about, like which rule you follow for scripting for a basic idea, and like what are the steps you follow before the AI, like or the tools you are using currently? That's my question.
I think I have not been using a lot of AI for scripting. I'm still doing scripting myself.
Yeah.
When it comes to writing a script for a long format video, right? My videos are majorly educational videos, so I don't look out for a hook. But if you are in a generic niche, for example, politics, or if you are creating something on geopolitics or any generic topic which has a mass audience, right? You need to figure out that starting hook. Like, if I'll speak this for initial 5 seconds, will people stop?
Right.
That's the first part of your script. Then you speak something, you start adding value. Then after that first part, you put something that people feel, this is valuable, I should watch this video, and then leave a surprise element, like this is something that's gonna be at the end. Or let's say, for example, if this is what people have tried out and it has worked for people, like these are the 5 things that will help you get rich in 2025, right? And the 5th one is my favorite. So it will help people stop till the end, till the 5th one, and your retention basically increases. The more the retention of your video, the more are its chances of getting
Engaged.
to more people or getting more engagement, people sharing that video, right? So that's I think basic structure of a short form content. When it comes to long form content, it varies from people to people, niche to niche. What exactly do you want, or what kind of audience do you serve?
Yeah, totally.
You can use some scripting
Thank you so
frameworks.
Yeah.
Like AIDA is there, which is very famous. You first grab attention, give them an interest, and again, D stands for desire. And at the end, you ask them to take some action. That is how scripting works.
Right.
Like there are multiple frameworks you can use.
Thank you so much. Next and the last question of the day.
Hi, I'm Meher from Ernst & Young. We have moved from offline education. This is all about education that you've mentioned, right? So we moved a lot from offline education to online self-paced education, and now what's happening is we are sharing a lot of certificates online that you've done one course after the other. And what we are internally realizing also is the efficacy of those courses is getting lesser and lesser. Do you see that the trend would ever reverse and go back to offline education and more immersive education using, say, AR, VR, using AI?
Yeah, I think completely agree with that. To be honest, like this is something which I am planning to do very soon. We realized from last 3 years we've been doing online courses. Although I love it, like because everyone can join and we have like now students across the world. The problem we have seen is the drop off. Even though, so right now like our engagement rate is the I think I don't want to again boast a lot, but it's like country's best. We have 49% retention on our first module, which means like all the people who start, and this is like the module which takes 1.5 months start from diffusion models. Even after that, we're not able to like solve the retention problem for a very long time. And recently we did this experiment, which was a 21-day challenge, which was completely offline event. So the idea is you can come up with your team, join this 21-day of journey, and pick one problem statement across AI agents, filmmaking, or LLMs, and build something, show us the MVP. And once you build it, come to Bangalore, we have a demo day. So there we basically introduce you to all the people in the industry. These are VCs, these are founders. As a result of this, what we saw is that people who were able to like build these kind of products in 21 days, it was like much more, first of all, like high impact as compared to somebody who was doing online with their own self-pace, because these guys don't have that, I would say, urgency to like complete something and also showcase it to someone, because at the end of the day, these guys are just doing a Zoom call. But when you come to Bangalore, when you basically like have maybe like an event like this, when you have maybe 2,000 people in front of you listening to you, the stakes are higher. And the kind of output and the kind of quality you produce is also much higher. So what we are trying to do currently is that combining these demo days after every, say, end of the cohort. So it's kind of a going through the hybrid approach. The first 3 months, 4 months, you basically learn with us online, and then come for the demo day offline. So you have the high stake environment. And maybe like in future, we're also experimenting with like some hybrid classes for the last 1 month. But yeah, I think that's a very interesting point which you brought up. And I don't have a correct answer, but this is something which I'm currently experimenting. We'll let you know how the experiment goes.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. And that's our time.